on your screen, and that means we are live.
This shit's fire.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pendergast podcast on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Well, evening time here in Virginia, right? But listen, it's an absolute honor today. And finally, I got my friend Darwin Rodriguez from Envy Race Apparels. You guys know who he is. He makes absolutely proper mega gear, right? But before we get into this episode is sponsored by Next Level Financial. Take total control of your financial future. Get your complimentary financial analysis today done by Seth Starnes. And everybody knows, man, go to bisontrack.com. They're a big major sponsor of mine too. And yeah, but listen, I can't wait to get into this, Darwin. I've been going through my mind so many times because there's so many questions that I have for you, right? But there's no way we're going to be able to get to them all on this one podcast. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and get in it. And first off, welcome to the show, brother.
All right, Chris, thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be in the show. We've been waiting for this for a little while, so it finally happened.
Yes, I did. Everybody, I've been chasing him around. Y'all have no idea where he goes. I'm following him. Hey man, we got to get this done. No, I really didn't chase him around like that. But yeah, listen, Darwin, how does your journey begin with two wheels, bro?
So back in the 99, 2000, I was into all the, street riding and, just going fast on the streets. And I got into, the whole chrome stuff. And, there was no extended swing arms back then, but it was about, making the bikes look nice, the candy apple red paint jobs. So I was all into that. And a mutual friend, they used to ride with me, said, "Hey man, I got this guy. He needs help buying some race parts." And next thing you know, I was introduced to this guy, became a really good friend of mine, and I hooked him up with some people that I know, and I helped him out. He didn't speak any English, and next thing you know, he invited me to the track. I really don't think he knew that I was gonna go. I think it was just an invitation, expecting me not to show up, and it was over down in the Dominican Republic. So next thing you know, I asked him what flight he was on. I bought my ticket. I showed up at the airport. He was out there, and he's looking at me like, "Oh shit, he's there." And then from there, I just that was back in 2000. Then maybe a few months later, he let me use his R6. And next thing you know, I just became addicted to the track.
I tell everybody, it's the best drug in the world. There's no other motorcycles. The way, me personally, I can only speak of my own feelings, right? But I assume everybody that loves it just as much as me feels the same thing, right? I have no greater feeling than when I do. It don't matter if I'm super upset or whatever it is, right? As soon as I throw my leg over a bike and I take off, it's like everything's okay, right? It's really hard to explain. It really is.
Right.
It changed my life. Absolutely changed my life. I mean, look at my freaking bedroom, right? I'm a nerd. Y'all have no idea. No idea. You know what I mean? So it's the best feeling in the world, bro. So doing track days, and you club race too, didn't you?
Yeah, I had never done a track day. So my first time at the track was the amateur practice for the race. And we did the practice, and then next thing you know, that was Friday, Saturday, qualify, and then Sunday was racing. So I had never done a track day in my life. I actually didn't do a track day ever until 2020 Daytona 200 weekend. The weekend before the 200, 2 weekends before the 200, I did my first ever track day. I went to Jennings for the very first time as a track day, trying to prep for the 200. And then the following weekend, I went to Pan Am, Florida track days, and I did that also. Those were my very first track days. I mean, that was after being an expert. I went to a track day for the very first time, but prior to that, I had never done a track day.
Okay, so I've never had somebody just go straight into racing before, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I went straight from street to racing the same weekend.
bro, that's how was the experience?
I mean, that was you know, all I wanted to do was I wanted to drag my knee. I didn't care how I did it, if I crashed, and I went out there my very first practice, and I dragged my knee. First practice out, the very next, the very next lap, I was in the grass.
He said, "I dragged my elbow and my shoulder. Eat your heart out,
Oh
Jorge
yeah.
Martin."
After that, it was just like then next thing you know, I was hooked on that. Came back to the States. I was down in the Dominican Republic. Came back, and man, it was just like it's time to convert everything into a race bike. So,
That's awesome. What was your first race bike?
um, so I was riding the R6. That was my friend's R6. I rode that for a little bit. Then I got a 2003 G600. Um, and then I started moving up, and I just became a Gixxer guy for a little bit. So I was riding a Gixxer 600. Then I went to a 750, and then in 2006, I ended up buying a Gixxer 600 built by Dick Suarez, and that's when I started racing in up in New Hampshire in the Loudon Road Race Series. And that's when I started my actual club racing here in the States.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I had a couple GSXRs. I really liked them. I'm a fan of all bikes, so really, right? It's I had a '01 Gixxer 600 that I put a '03 front end on. Um, Handled great. It was a nice bike. It was light, felt comfortable on it. It had a great chassis feel, in my opinion. Right out the box. So yeah, man, dude, that's awesome. So racing in New Hampshire, right? How did you go? Did you watch any like racing before you got into motorcycles, like Moto America or would be AMA back then?
No, that's actually right when I started doing the going to the track is when I started watching races. Um, I didn't even know anyone that had a big bike back then. We just had I just had gotten my brand new Gixxer 600, and I just knew the guys that I started riding with. But prior to that, I didn't watch any races. But it was like that same year was when everything started. Like bikes race was it. You know what I mean?
That's life. That's right. And
That's
did
right.
you grow up like turning wrenches? Like, how did you learn to work on motorcycles?
So you know, I lived in Dominican Republic until I was 10 years old, and in Dominican Republic, anyone that knows anything about the DR knows that DR is like 90% motorcycles. That's just the way it is. My dad always had motorcycles, or my uncles had motorcycles, and I grew up around that. And we had a family member. They used to live in New York City, and he was there, and I was like, he bought a YSR, and I was like, I want that, and that was like my dream. And I told him he was supposed to give me that one day, which that was never happened. But I've been around the bikes, my whole life, and my dad always worked on the bikes. My uncles, like I said, everybody worked on them. And then when I bought my own bike, you know, I actually through high school, I did auto mechanics in high school. So the whole 4 years of high school, I was in a vocational high school, so I did. Um, I was doing school there for mechanics, and then you know, I wanted to. The reason why I did that because I wanted to be an airplane mechanic. So the whole time I was always mechanically inclined, and then after high school I went to go do aviation maintenance school. So I've always been around the tools.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. So I was always mechanically inclined. Okay. And what really started it for me, of course, growing up, I didn't have my own dirt bike because my dad was in the Navy. We moved all the time. My mom was no, my dad's like, yeah. So point being, I didn't get one until I was 16, right? When I bought my first street motorcycle when I was still in high school. Anyway, growing up, riding my friends' dirt bikes, they show me, just how you got to clean the car, this and that. That's my first humble beginnings of mechanics. And then in high school, my dad's like, what the hell are you gonna do with your life? Because you can't live here forever, right? And I was like, I want to go to MMI, work on motorcycles. So yeah, that back then though, that you had to pass the aptitude test. They actually sent you a test. You had to, answer all these questions and figure shit out and then send it back, blah blah blah. Anyway, yeah, and the main reason why I did it was when I first got my street bike, I saved my money, busted my ass at work, and while still going to school, right? It was just part time, but I had enough money. I got a full pipe header, jet kit, ignition advancer, Canaan filter, all this shit, right? Take it to my local dealership where I bought it from. They had it for 2 weeks, and they finally called me and they're like, "We can't get this thing running." So I was like, "Oh, don't touch it. I'm gonna come get it." So I went down there, got it, brought it back to the house. They didn't even attempt to put the jet kit in. Right. Basically, they just took it. I don't even know what they anyway. Yeah. So this was back before YouTube and all this shit, right? So I ordered a shop manual and just did it myself. I was like, yeah, I'm going to MMI 100%, right? Like, I don't want to take my bike to another dealership again. Forget all that. Now we're screwed. We can't do that because it's got freaking enough electronics to get you to the moon and back, right?
That's right.
Which is crazy.
That's right. Yeah. So I with the bikes, I just started. I started just buying bikes and buying pieces of bikes, pretty much. Auction bikes and making one out of two and selling parts. And once I did that, it was kind of I started getting into building them. And then it became fun. I mean, it became fun that people were looking for me to build them bikes and what. And then later on, I think it really happened in 2009. 2009 when I moved here to Florida, I kind of started getting really because I moved to Florida chasing the tracks. So that's one of the main reasons why I came out here because I was like, oh, you got Daytona, West Palm Beach, Homestead, Jennings, Roebling. So that was I was hoping to race every weekend. And then I built my first R6. It was 2009, and I bought. I don't know if you remember Lloyd, the one that he passed away at Homestead.
Yep.
So I was talking to Lloyd, and he's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I got an engine that's being built in California by Randy, and I got this and I got that." He's like, "You just gonna have to buy a frame, and you got to buy forks." And next thing you know, I ended up buying all that stuff from him, and I built my R6. And I thought that was actually pretty cool to start from nothing, just build this bike, and that led into me just keep buying stuff and buying frames and buying motors. And then next thing you know, I'm like building race bikes. And then I learned through a friend of mine's, John. he had a shop, Racing Connection, here in Orlando, actually in Kissimmee. He kind of helped me out with my motors, and I started learning some stuff from him. For cam timing, degreeing the cams, and taking the engine apart, which that made everything even better because next thing you know, I went from just putting the bike together to taking the motor apart, and turning it into a super sport. Then head gaskets, cam timing, all that stuff. So, and I still to this day I still do it. I got like AR6s in my garage right now that I'm working on. So, I enjoy it. Sometimes it's a little bit too much because I do have a full-time job, and I have MB Racing Apparel, which is another full-time job. I say it's a part-time job, but it's actually a full-time job. And then I do the bikes also, so it's my plate's pretty full. And then during the year, I'm out with Avery and Ala and John, doing every Motor America round, and this the past couple of races from Motor America, I've been helping out Derek Sanchez also. So it's been pretty busy.
What a life. What a beautiful life, Darwin. Absolutely amazing, right?
Yeah, my wife also say that.
Trust me. Listen. It's as well as I do because podcasting is a full-time job, right? I call it my kind of part, like you, right? I look at it as it's one of my favorite things to do ever, right? That's why I do it and help grow the sport, and everybody knows my story and why I do it. But it's a juggling act, bro. To, of course, the saying's "happy wife, happy life," right? But once you find that unique balance, and without my wife loving me so much and being that queen she is and support system, it'd be hard for me to do as many podcasts as I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's same. I'm sure it's the same with you too. But man, dude, bro, it's like it changed my life, right? Just like all your adventures right now. And I love working on bikes. I still do it sometimes on the side too in my garage, but it's hard for me because it's just hard. That's why I say, man, like you got a little bit more on your plate than I do, and it's a struggle sometimes to.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's gotten to the point that there's been times that I actually pass work on to someone just because it's like I feel like I'm overwhelmed, especially during the summertime, but everything's going on, and it's like I got need some help.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, what was your journey like into Envy apparel?
So MB started back in, like, I believe in 2012, 2013. I can't remember exactly when. Um, I was looking to get a custom suit. That was the big deal back then. Like, everybody was like, there was two companies out there making custom suits, really, like just the way they are now, like how we are now, Rob and I and Joe and some of the other guys. There was only like two people doing that. I had built a little relationship with one, and we had spoken about, I wanted to get a suit done at some point. Gave me a price, and man, I was excited. I was like, all right, let me get things together, and I'm gonna make it. Well, some months go by, and I'm ready to make it now, and it's like now that brand has grown so much more, and I'm like, hey, I'm ready to make the suit. I'm like, all right, so how you want me to send you this money? And he's like, oh man, I'm sorry, the prices have gone up, and it was like they went from, like, I think I was gonna pay like $1,200 for the custom suit back then, and it went to like 1,800, and I was just like, yeah, you know what, I got to get back to you. I don't think this is gonna happen. So then that kind of brought me down, and I really wanted to get this custom suit, um, and things worked out. I didn't get it, you know. I still was cool with the guy, I just didn't get it. Decided not to go that way. And then there was another brand. I don't know if you ever remember seeing them. It's called Ballistic.
Mm-hmm.
So Ballistic had a raffle on Facebook, on their Facebook page, and anyone that was in that liked the page, Ballistic did this raffle for a suit, and I actually won the suit. So it's actually pretty cool because now I had a suit, and I don't know if you ever spoken to Tim Hunt, but Tim used to be like the South Florida uh, guy for Ballistic. So he ended up bringing me the suit over to Orlando, which I was like pretty cool, And so then after that, I was introduced to a person that did leather purses, and that led into, oh, you do motorcycles? I know somebody that does that. And the next thing you know, um, now this is 2015, but April, May 2015, and I start having this conversation, and I just wanted to get a suit made. I wanted to get something nice. I remember I wanted this suit, and I wanted to have the Dominican Republic flag stuff in the front, and that's what I was after. Um, so we got that working, and I didn't have a brand because it was just like I just wanted to get a suit made. And next thing you know, these people used to work for Technic. They used to do the suits for Technic back then. And a friend of mine, I told, say, hey man, he used to work with Corel and Adobe, that stuff. And I said, hey, I want to make a logo because I want to do this motorcycle suit for myself. And he's like, all right, what do you want? I said, well, so when we used to do all the chrome bikes and all the paint jobs and stuff, the name of the kind of like my deal when I used to build these bikes to sell was MV Cycles. So most people, like, they still have the same email as MV Cycles at Yahoo. So I still use it. Some people say, why is it called MV Cycles? But that's what it was. It was because back then, um, it was NV Cycles. You're envious of what we have. So I said, hey, can you help me make this logo? So we make this logo, and now some of the one kid that I used to help down in the Dominican Republic was like, we were like, hey, you want to make a suit? He's like, let's take advantage that I'm going to make this suit. So, I had him come over now. And then a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine over there from the Dominican Republic, also was like, I want to make one also. And that led into 3 suits being made. And next thing you know, he's like, my friend goes, hey, my coworker wants to make a suit because he wants to start going on the track. So next thing you know, it's like now I have a logo, and now I send my first 4 suits to get made with zero intentions of ever making a business out of this, right? I did that just because I wanted to have a suit, had no intentions of ever selling suits. Well, in the process, I was like, man, this was actually pretty cool doing that. So a friend of mine from down south in Miami, he was like, oh man, how come you didn't tell me you were getting a suit made? And I told him what was going on. He's like, I want a suit. So his brother was a big designer, so he designed his own suit. He sent me everything, measured him, and next thing you know, I make him a suit. And then that led into just people just like, oh, make me a suit, make me a suit, make me a suit. And here I am.
I love it, man. It's
Yeah,
what a journey, right? It's obviously people loved your work, right? It speaks
yeah.
volumes of it, and it's crazy how life takes you to places you never would have thought you'd be in a million years. You know what I mean? So going from the beautiful story you just told, bro, to actually sponsoring riders, right? Such as Ella and Avery. First of all, I got a couple questions on that, but how did you get into Moto America? Was that through Bad Boys Racing and them?
No, no. So it was actually with Max Angles. So Max came over from Cuba. I know Max's dad since Dominican Republic when he used to go from Cuba to Dominican Republic to go race. I know him from back then. And then Angel that lived down in South Florida, he was together with them. Um, and I knew Angel from CCS. So and we had become good friends. And when Max came over from Cuba, they got him a bike, and next thing you know, it's like Max is, Max became Max. Everybody knows now, and Max was just going super fast. So it was time to make him a suit. Made him a couple of suits already, and then we were going to Motor America. So kind of like what I do with Avery now and Ella, I was doing that with Max back then. So every round, not every round, most of the rounds I would show up. I usually show up Friday night, um, and we would go to whatever events we went to. So my first suits going into Motor America was with Max.
That's awesome. And how did you? I love the whole Avery family, man. They're absolutely amazing people, and John too. They're amazing human beings, man. I was intimidated John when I first met him. I ain't gonna lie, darn. He gives that. It's just that he's just giant, and he's just so serious when he's working on the bikes, and it's yeah, man. But he's a big teddy bear, and I love him to death. Yeah, big hugger too for sure. I love that. I do. But how did you meet Bad Boys Racing and Avery and Ella and everybody?
So around the same time, 2015-ish time, 14, 15. Um, my boys already growing up, and I bought them some CRF 50s for Christmas, and they wanted to ride, like everybody, all the boys want to do what their father was doing. So I was racing as much as I could, and so I got on the bikes, and I found out about South Florida Mini GP, um, and I took them there, and my son Estian, him and Ella used to always be together during that, like their first year. So they'd be in the back, and it'd be just them two together, like just going back and forth. That's how I always remember. And I always tell him, I'm like, oh man, you could have been there with Ella, now. But so over the time, I met them through South Florida Mini GP, and then we decided that we were gonna make them suits. So we ended up making all 3 of them suits: Avery, Ella, and Carter. And man, that was the beginning of becoming family.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful story too. And also, as you know, Darn, I got a lot of friends in SFL Mini, and there's a lot of them that are in envy race apparel.
Right.
Actually, when I met you for the first time at Jersey, and I mean we were friends before that on Facebook. When we
Right.
finally met, I bought a sweater from Avery. I got it, man. Actually, my son, he stole it. As soon as I got back to the hotel, he opened that thing up. That it was the gray Envy one, right? Super thick. It's super
Right.
comfortable. It's actually my favorite hoodie. I barely get to wear it because my son steals it. He's 11, so he could put it on and put his knees up in it, and stay comfortable. So yeah,
Get all cozy.
bro, I'm telling you, yeah, it's absolutely an amazing sweatshirt. I freaking love it, man. We actually got a couple comments. My buddy Matt Hall, he races, club races, super fast. He says, "What's going on, fellas?" And then he says, "He's a Jixer bro for life."
What's
And then my man Keith Kelly, he says, "I Darwin in the house, absolutely."
going
Um,
on, guys?
and then Matt says, "Sounds like me cruising marketplace, buying every junky bike I can find." Right. And then my teammates rocking Envy, and it looks good. I saw 3 brand new suits at Jennings a couple weeks ago, looking fire from Keith.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
actually those guys. That's actually Tim Hunt, Chris, and EJ. So it's funny that Tim Hunt actually gave me my very first suit from Ballistic, and the things change. Tables turn. The next thing you know, I'm making him a suit later on, and like it's actually pretty cool. That happened that way.
it comes full circle again, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
I love it. I love. So, how do people, if somebody wants a custom suit from Envy, what's the process?
Um, they usually they contact me, Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp, or they call me direct, and then we just start moving on. We go over designs, measurements. I personally like to measure people. I've flown across the country to go measure people, and I've done it many times. To drive halfway to meet somebody at West Palm Beach when they're from Miami, and where here I am measuring them in the parking lot of the rest area. I've measured people at the airports, flying in, or I flew over to Atlanta. I jump on Frontier, I get to Atlanta, I measured them, jump right back, and came back. So then we work on designs, and then once we do that, we just the suits get made. Usually our suits are done within 4 to 5 weeks. That's my promise to the customer. 4 to 5 weeks. Usually it's less, but that's my promise. It's 4 to 5 weeks. It's a couple of times a year that it could turn into 6, just when Ramadan is happening. Um, but for the most part, 4 to 5 weeks is the good number.
Yeah. So, how do you go about, like, do you do like rider sponsorship programs or anything like that?
Yeah. So right now, the MB Racing sponsorship is open right now. I usually open it in October. Like everyone else, most brands open it in October. So I open it in October, and then I don't close it until November, at the end of November. Most companies only run it for a month. I run it for 2 months. Um, and I try to give everyone. I don't think I ever turned anyone down. Obviously there's different levels, but I don't turn anyone down. I think everybody deserves a chance, and if they're taking their time to come after and try to get something, I think they know, and they want to. If I can help them whichever way, and that's one of the reasons why I believe I'm a little popular in mini GP, because I've gone to mini GP and I've helped every single person out there, all the kids. I sponsored mini South Florida mini GP also. Um, I've given free suits away. Uh, I sponsor the GP Pro. So last year, Cooper won the championship, so he got the free suit. This year, Gabe won the championship, so he got the free suit. So I'm always involved, and it's easier for me because it's South Florida. Plus, my kids started racing there, although they didn't continue. But I have a special love for South Florida Mini GP, just because you know they accepted me as soon as I went there, and it feels really good, to be part of it.
Oh, absolutely. To
So
me,
yeah, so my sponsorship goes to the end of the month. So anyone that's listening and watching, go ahead and check it out. If you're interested, just send in your resume, and I'll surely get back to you.
I love you guys heard it. What are you guys waiting on? Put in your resumes, hit them up, man. That's awesome. I love it. Darn, that's freaking amazing, right? And I'm sure it's a special feeling getting all these resumes in. You're like, man, look at this. Look where I started and now look where I'm at, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, man. And I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah,
Again,
thank you.
I don't know all the work that goes in the back end to get all this stuff done. I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, especially, like I told you, I have a full-time job, so I work a, 40-hour job, and then I do this pretty much full-time also. So, and then I juggle the bikes around, the bike building. So it's a lot of work. I think that what the reason why I keep doing it is because I actually enjoy it. I enjoy sitting in front of my computer and talking to a writer, and he's telling me what he wants, and me visualizing what he wants and putting things together, and then seeing the final result. You know what I mean? It feels really good to see that. It's always that suspense, right? Because it's like you make somebody a suit, and it's like they see the image and they're like, "Yeah, that looks really good. That's what I want." And then the suit arrives, and I'm always like, man, is this really what he wanted? Like, and then when I get that message, like, oh, I love the suit, and it's like, oh, that feels good.
I could only imagine it does, man. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Actually, we got a guy on here right now that wears an envious suit. Alex Moorhead. What's going on, bud? He says, "Oh, envy suit guy here crashed so many times in mine, and it's held up very well."
yeah, Alex.
Yeah, yeah, love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, there's a lot of guys in South Florida mini GP wearing my suits, and I've taken this so big, it's like for me, for what I could operate, I think I'm pretty decent size, just because like Rob, right? Rob and Tasha, they run Bison, and they have, that's their number one, and Rob's a good friend of mine. Tasha, talk to those guys. I talked to Rob this morning. I get, me, Rob, and Joe. We're the union, right? So we talk to each other. Um, so we have a really good relationship. But I've grown. Sometimes I think I've grown too much, and maybe I didn't want to get that big, because I'm dealing with, I'm sponsoring people and having riders up in the UK. I went to Brands Hatch, and then I got riders in Venezuela. I got riders in Mexico. Now I got a rider in Spain. In Dominican Republic, I have a bunch. Puerto Rico, Colombia. So, and then here, I have them here on the East Coast. I have them on the West Coast, up north. So they're everywhere, and it's a lot. It's a lot of work. For a single person, because I do it by myself. The only time I ever get any help is when I have one of my kids, one of my boys, they help me measure. But then that's it. I do everything else complete. I don't have any help from anyone.
if you thought about hiring somebody,
So that hiring someone is one of those where it's a risky business.
it is. It is.
I did have a guy that wanted to help. He said he wanted to help, and then I found that when he finally got the contact of the factory, he went through the back and tried to make his own suits. And the factory was like, "Hey, do you know this phone number?" And I was like, "Hold up." So I put it in my phone because I really didn't know it. And I'm like, "Really?" And so ever since then, I was like, "Yeah, you know what? No, no thanks." So they shut them down right away. So that's the one good thing that I have. The factory that I work with, they don't. It's only here in the U.S. It's only me. They have somebody big up in France and somebody up in Switzerland. So between us three, that's enough work for them, which works really well. So we kind of have an agreement that they can't make suits for someone else. So it actually works out really well.
Yeah, dude, I love it, dude. It's freaking awesome. So, what do you do for your real job?
I'm an airplane technician, so I work for JetBlue Airways,
I love
and
it,
I've
man.
been doing it for 25 years now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Same.
I spent 5 years at the commuter American Eagle, and then I went over to JetBlue, and I've been there 20 years, going on 21 now in January.
So you get a good discount on tickets for family.
Yeah, we get a little something.
Yeah. Well, my dad was a pilot, right? He's a fighter pilot, and he just retired from United Airlines. He was there since 84 or 82. I can't remember. He was obviously a captain, blah, 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 blah. But I remember in high school, bro, I used to get every year I'd get blank tickets, a certain amount. I forget how many I got, where I could literally, I'd had to dress nice. I could fill out where I want to go, show my ID, rip it
Right.
off, just jump on a plane and freaking bye, see ya, you know.
Yeah.
Um, After September 11th, uh,
Everything changed.
eh, absolutely changed. I still get a discount, right? But of course, you know, just like anything, it's all standby, so it's all ranked based. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I never
Yeah.
got.
Although I work for for JetBlue, and and I pretty much, when I fly within the U.S., I pretty much don't pay anything. It's but it's standby.
Yeah,
So so everywhere we go, most tracks that I go to for racing, when we do the rounds in North America, I'm always flying on someone else. So I try to, I purchased that Frontier all you could fly deal in the past, and I try to fly Frontier wherever I could go. Because $400 for unlimited. So that works out really well. I fly, I'll fly whatever I could fly, then I'll just do that. But I try to fly positive space, buy a regular ticket just to make sure that I get there and I get back.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got to be home with the wife and the kids, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. Listen real quick, man. I met my wife on a blind date. How did you and your wife meet?
Oof. Uh, Mutual friend.
Right. Nice, nice. Yeah. Well, obviously, me and my wife, we had a mutual friends, and that's how they hooked us up, right? But I never talked to her, never really seen her, blah blah blah, and just yeah, showed up and kind of whatever. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my god.
one of my best friends back in high school, um, his sister had a bunch of friends. So, it was like who's gonna be the one type of deal, and it just happened to fall in place. So we've been together for a long time. We've been together since '94. So high school, and we're still together, which is good.
I love it, dude. It's beautiful. So me and my wife, we got married in 2008. So yeah, we've been together for a little bit, not as long as you guys do. And you know, it's a man, it's a beautiful thing, you know, because it's you don't hear of that very often these days. Couples
No,
staying together and
definitely
being
not.
together that long, you know. So I feel accomplished, right? Like we accomplished something, you know. It's good. It's good for the world, you know. Everybody needs to work it out and stay together, man. Dude, this has been a lot of fun, dude. Darn, absolutely. I want to get into which is one of my favorite parts of the interview is where I get to know Darn on a personal level away from the racetrack, right? But before we do that, I do have a question for you. On Envy is what's the future of Envy?
I'm always trying to expand stuff. It all started with suits. Then the gloves came in. Then the undersuits. We used to do just a one piece undersuit. Turn that into a two-piece undersuit. So one of the things that I like is we make a replica of your suit as an undersuit. So kind of like the I don't know, think of VNM. I think that's it called
Mhm.
the girl from out west, and also it's a J151 from the UK.
Yeah.
So we kind of do the same thing. The only difference, I make you a replica of your actual suit. So when I make you a suit, I give you that option to make a replica on the suit, and it's two piece or one piece. Um, After that, we make boots also. So we making race boots. I do custom canopies. So those, the ones like, for example, the ones that John has for Ella and Avery, those are the ones that I made. The one that Isaac uses, German. Even Seth Starnes, his canopies for the new business. Those are all the ones that I made. I make table covers. Um, the feather flags, make those also. So I have expanded a bunch already, but it's always you're always looking for something new, right? So um, I don't know yet where I want to go because it's a lot of work. I do want to keep growing, but then at the same time, I don't want to keep growing just because it just becomes so much to handle. And like right now, just today, I was up 8 o'clock in the morning, and I it was nonstop. When I told you I was on my way home, I just had went out to the store and I came, but that was pretty much already almost 7 hours just sitting in front of a computer, just doing, designing. And then when I have customers come over, like today, um, then it's not just 20 minutes of measuring time. It's we sit down, we bullshit, and it just takes the time, and the time flies. So I just want to keep. I think right now the only thing I really would like to keep doing is just keep expanding out of the country, right? So I got a few riders in Colombia, um, so I want to take that. I'm working with a team in the UK, so hopefully next year we'll have 3 riders in
And
at
BSB.
BSB. Um, and then I'm working out some stuff for the kid up in Brazil. So I'm trying to expand just out of the US, and at the same time I want to make sure that I stay here and I support my guys here, because I have a lot of riders that I help out, you know that I sponsored, and I've been helping them since mini GP, like Isaac, Ella, Avery. I mean, Avery's not wearing my brand right now because he got a contract with the team and he has to wear the rabbit stuff, but a lot of kids from mini GP that keep wearing, that are wearing my stuff, and the next thing you know, they end up, going into the higher series, and next, they're in Motor America. So hopefully next year you should be able to see, more riders, in Motor America wearing Envy. And those are the ones I want to help out the most. It's the kids, I help out adults that want to go race Motor America. But I'm not interested in those big name guys. I like helping out the kids. Yeah, you want to go do the new Talent Cup? Yeah, I want to help you. You want to do, more America Mini GP? I want to help you. You want to keep doing Mini GP, South Florida Mini GP or New Jersey? Yeah, I want to help. Those are the ones I really want to help. And I also do a lot of help down in the Dominican Republic. Same thing that I done in Mini GP, I do it over there. I've given suits away. Um, just not even a sponsorship. Just I've gone to the track. I see this kid wearing the suit that is like, you're better off just wearing jeans and a jacket. And I made him a suit. Here you go. And I also do a lot of other ways that I help out is when riders get new suits, I take in their old suits. So I got guys that say, hey, I got like 3 old suits in my garage. They're just thrown there. And no matter the size, I take them. The next thing you know, I pack everything. I've shipped tons of boxes to Dominican Republic. We threw all the old suits in there. 10, 15 pair of suits and old gloves, old boots. And next thing you know, I send them out to the DR, and they got a bunch of kids there that there's actually kids in the DR and adult that race with jeans and sneakers. So I send all that stuff over there and I give it all out. Most of the times, what I do with them is that I tell them like, look, you get all the stuff for free, all you got to do is pay for the shipping. So you know that's how I help them out with that. And so I but going back to I help a lot of guys. Isaac. Andrew was one of the kids I used to help. You got Arthur, um, Mini GP, um, Carter still there. And so I got a few kids still.
I love it, supporting the future of our sport, right? That's what it's about.
Right.
The same thing, but what I focus on is the future of our sport for the podcast. That because that's one thing I saw missing in our sport to trying to help it grow. Where uh, the other ones, which they're absolutely amazing because I listen to them too, right? It's always the well known names too as well. Not the Isaac Woodworth or any of that. You know what I'm saying? It's very
Right. That's
important.
that's the good thing about your podcast, right? Like I
Yeah,
watch the podcast from the other guys up in the West Coast, and it's like all they want to do is have the big name. They want to have Cameron Bobier, and they want to have all these big names, but they don't give any love to the little guys, and that's the same way I feel when it comes to the suits. I want to help the little guys. Those are the ones that deserve most of the help. Those big guys already have the fundings. They have all the help they, not all the help, but they have a lot of help. With the kids, is usually the parents doing everything.
No, 100%. I dude feel the same way, bro. Absolutely, I feel the same way, and I love it, bro. It's a great story, man. Giving back, and doing what you're doing. So, if anybody out there that's listening to this now, or that's going to listen to this in the future, if you guys have any old suits, boots, or gloves laying around that you just want to get rid of, yeah, hit up Darwin. Let him know, man. He'll take them in and
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely, especially kid
donate them.
suits. If anybody got any kid suits, and you want to just help out, I take them all and I build these big boxes. Sometimes they weigh. I've gotten boxes that weigh 80 pounds with just suits, and I bring them to a shipping courier that they send it by ship to down to the Dominican Republic, and then I hand them out.
I love it, dude. Like Santa Claus, right? Here you guys go. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Good stuff, man. So, listen, Darwin, I want to get into this. Are you a coffee drinker, bro?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Are you like a cream and sugar or just black?
No, no, no. I'm an espresso guy.
Ah, I like espresso too,
Yeah.
right? I like
So
cold.
it's funny because every time I go to any racetrack, I bring my espresso machine in my bag. So I always Aaron would be like, hey, what's that? And I'm like, oh, that's my espresso machine. Next thing you know, I had Aaron drinking espressos, and then he'll ask me, hey, you bring your machine? So I'm an espresso guy. First thing in the morning when I get up is I go straight up, and I make the espresso with. I mean, it's the little espresso you put on top of the stove. Those are the ones that I use still, and um, that's actually the one I like. So I drink 3 times a day, pretty much, and then during the day, I drink straight black coffee. No cream, no sugar.
Good. That's good to know because I like it the same way. So next time I see it Moto Care, I'll be like, dude, what time is our espresso break?
Yeah. Well, no, the espresso I don't drink it with no sugar.
Uh, uh,
I drink the how I call it the dirty water from Dunkin' Donuts. I'll
yeah.
drink that straight black, with no sugar. But espresso, it's hard to bring down without any sugar.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely got to have sugar in it. But coffee, yeah, I do like a good, especially if the coffee's good, it's good
Right.
black, right?
Yeah,
If
that's when you
it's
that's when you actually taste the good,
tasted,
good beans in there.
absolutely it is. Do you name your motorcycles, bro?
They at one point I did. Um, I it's kind of like funny because my first R6, I used to call it in Spanish I had painted it black. I did it in the backyard. I painted it black. It was Friday before I left to the track, and I gave it the name La Morena. So that's like my dark girl in a way. And so she had a name, and then when I built my later years later when I built my 2018 R6 when they started coming out, um, that one I call La Nena, so like the baby. Um, but then those have been the only two that ever had a name. So
I love it. Do you plan on getting another bike in the future?
I still have my 2018. So that's one that I actually built that bike to do the 200, the one that got canceled because of COVID. So, um, we were there, and I was already in qualifying. I already had qualified. My times were good enough to be inside the race. It was the dream finally come through, and next thing you know, they just burst it really quick. And but I still have it. I've done a few. I think I did a couple of Pan Am rounds with it. And then after that, I haven't really messed around with it. I was actually getting it ready to do the Race of Champions this past October. And then the hurricane came around, and all my free time that I had a weekend set to get that done, finalize the whole bike and get it tuned and everything. That's when the hurricane came around, so I didn't have any time to touch it. So at that point, it was like, all right, well, I'm not racing anymore. So I just went over to Daytona, and I was just hanging out with my brother and my nephew there.
I love it. I was actually supposed to go ride SFL Mini in the Heron compound.
Right, I remember.
Yeah. It didn't happen, but I will make it down there. I can't wait to hang out with my friends down there. Freaking awesome, man. Do you have any pets?
Yeah, I got a dog.
Nice. I
Yeah.
got my my girl. She's always in here with me. She's my freaking sidekick. No matter where I go, I could literally get up, walk out. She'll go out with me. If I go in the bathroom, she stops and looks until I leave, and then follow. Dude, she's my little sidekick, man. Everywhere I
Yeah,
go, she goes.
yeah. I got a golden retriever. His name is Neo.
I love it, dude.
We
Like the
named we named we named him based on the movie The Matrix.
I love the Matrix, man. It's not too far off reality, is it?
And I know.
It's scary. I got an original Matrix poster reloaded right here in the corner. You remember when you could buy the posters where they had the cardboard backing, the thick cardboard backing,
Yep.
and all that foam wrap? I mean, saran wrap. Yeah, dude, right there. Neo, baby. Freaking love it, dude. What's for dinner tonight, bro?
I don't know. She sounds just cooking.
Do you like hot and spicy food?
Oh, I love hot and spicy food.
Me too. Like what
I'm a hot sauce guy, so but I like hot sauce that has
flavor?
flavor, not
Yeah,
just hot.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I have in the pantry, I have a section for hot sauce, and depending on what I'm eating, it depends which one I grab.
You sound just like me, brother. Like I knew me. I knew we were friends, but yeah, dude, for sure.
I
I'm the
tell
same
you,
way.
so I have a lot of hot sauce. I mean, I have hot sauce from Ecuador. I have hot sauce from Dominican Republic. I have hot sauce from Colombia. But I got one hot sauce that's from Puerto Rico, from a restaurant in Puerto Rico. That the name of the restaurant is called Don Pepe. They have the best hot sauce. It's you could take it with a spoon, eat a little bit, and it's like, wow, this is good. It's got that good kick, but it has that flavor of everything they put in there.
It pops.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to, man. It's really hard to find a good hot sauce with that balance, right? So what's your go-to hot sauce, man?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. So my brother goes to Puerto Rico all the time, and every time that he goes, he's like, "Are you good with hot sauce?" And I'm like, "Yes or no." I always got, so I keep one at work, I keep one home, and I'm always I always got something. But I like hot sauce. At work, I probably got, at home I got probably like 15 of them, 15 type. At work, I probably have 6 or 7 of them.
So
Because it all depends on what I'm eating, right?
yeah, it does.
To me,
Dude,
that
listen,
that makes that makes that's like I don't eat pizza, but when I did, I used to like eating it with Tabasco. Um, but then like I wouldn't use Tabasco on just anything.
yeah.
So
No, I'm with you. You don't eat pizza no more?
no, and like even like sriracha, I don't just put sriracha. I can't eat anything with sriracha, but like Chinese rice, when I used to eat that stuff, then yeah, that was the way to go.
Sriracha to me, it just tastes like anything you put on it. It's sriracha. That's it, right? You might as
Right,
well
right,
freaking drink the bottle. I mean, come on, man. That's why I don't. It's got good flavor. I'm not saying it don't, but when everything on your plate that it touches tastes like that, it's like, yeah, I'm fucking
right,
good.
right.
That's right.
And that's why I eat. Depends on what I'm eating is what I'm going to use. I put hot sauce on my salad. So
Dude, bro, I put hot sauce on my popcorn, salt and vinegar chips. I put hot sauce on everything.
yeah,
No
sometimes
bullshit.
sometimes people say, "Oh man, that's weird. You're putting hot sauce on mango."
Dude, they don't understand.
It's
It's that
good.
sweet heat, right?
But then again, I'm the type that would say, "You putting pineapple on the pizza?"
Hey, I like pineapple on pizza too, right? But so besides that, like I'll say the American hot sauce that we can all get in like Kroger or Food Line or anything like that. What is your go-to store bought here hot sauce?
There's so many. I
I
don't I
know.
don't have, like I said, because like right, I shop with, like, here we shop at Publix, right, in Florida. Up north we shop in a Stop and Shop. But
Yeah.
I've always so all right. So I guess I gotta say is that I go into the aisle where they have all I don't want to say Indian food, but they have all the ethnic food because
All
that's
the
where they have those.
international food.
They
Yep.
have those hot sauce that they're not in the regular, peach hot
Hot
sauce.
sauce.
That's not where
Yes.
they are. They're in a different place, and those are the ones I get. You know,
Yep.
to me, those are the ones that have taste, and you're
Flavor.
eating. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like, hey, oh wow, this tastes good. It makes it taste even better.
I'm the same way. But if I was to buy like one, just whatever, it'd be Chihuahua for sure. But yeah, I do the same, but I make my own. And one that I do and I recommend to everybody, man, it's grapeseed oil and crushed red pepper, right? I mean, you get habanero, crushed red pepper. There's so many different crushed red peppers you can get, right? So uh, what it does is whatever type you put in there, say habanero, because it's a good heat, right? It's not a
Right.
real intense, like, oh my god, I can't take it, but it's a good heat. That and grapeseed oil, the longer it sits, the hotter it gets, but it's only going to get as hot as the pepper, but it don't change the flavor profile of anything you put it in,
Oh
soups,
wow.
burgers, chicken, or anything, right? And it lasts for freaking ever, but it don't because ate the shit out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that and hot sauce, man. And I love that show, The Hot Ones on YouTube, right? Where the guy interviews from the to the hottest. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So like, I don't that hot sauce I don't buy just because to me those just like a normal hot sauce,
Yeah.
right? To me, that's not a hot sauce that has anything special, right? It's like you could just get it anywhere. Sometimes you go to restaurants and they have it on top of the table.
Yeah.
I like hot sauce. I like what I like homemade. So
Yeah. Me too.
everything that I buy, I try to buy something that's almost like a homemade hot sauce. The
Yeah.
only one, like I said, that I buy that's not is the Tabasco.
Yeah.
And that's just because I like Tabasco on certain things. Like if I have a regular salad, like lettuce and whatever, I'll put a little bit of that, because it's vinegary, so it
Yeah.
actually gives it that kick.
Yep.
But other than that, everything else that I eat, I eat different things. If I'm eating steak, you know, I like to eat with a certain hot sauce. Um, Something that's not gonna take the taste away from the steak and let me enjoy it, but it gets that little kick.
Yeah. No, listen. I love to cook, man. I get it from my mom, so I experiment, make homemade salad dressings and all this other shit. Some are good, some suck ass, but that's how you learn,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
is experiment. So, yeah, man, dude, that's awesome. So, what's your all time favorite movie, bro?
Uh, Scarface.
Scarface is a
It's
good
was
man.
Scarface. It's Scarface and Belly.
Belly's a good one too,
Yeah,
man.
I could watch those over and over. It's funny because I used to watch Scarface so much that I went out one night with some friends and a big huge fight broke out at this club, and next thing you know, I walked outside, somebody hit me with something in my face, and I got this scar. And I got home and my sisters both were like, well, you finally got your scar now.
I love it, Scarface, dude. I watched the shit out of that movie too, man. It was such
Yeah.
a good movie, man.
Yeah, but
Um,
I mean, Scarface and Belly, those are two movies like I always sit down. I can always sit down and watch the whole thing without interruption. Then there's also movies that I like. Like I like Avatar, like the first one.
I like Avatar.
Um,
Yeah.
and then the Matrix movies, the first couple were the best ones. And those two, The Matrix and Avatar, it was like a movie that my wife and I would watch together. Actually, she likes to watch anything that has this guy in there. So Speed and anything that Keanu's in, she wants to watch.
I love it,
Um,
dude. He's my favorite actor. Keanu Reeves has always been my favorite. Dude, Johnny Utah, Point
yeah,
Break, man. Come on, man. Let's go.
yeah.
Dude, tell us something we don't know about you.
Uh, I mean, I think we've been talking about it. There's really I don't have, all I can say is, I do have a daughter. Um, and my daughter, she wanted to race. She told me several times I want to race. But she's involved in so many things, right? She does ballet. She does horse riding. So she does all the Western type of riding. Now she's doing jumping. So I'm always busy. You know, if I'm not busy with the motorcycle, I'm busy with her. Then my son, one of them plays football for high school. Then the other one does. He plays volleyball. So the weekends, like this time of the year, almost every weekend or every other weekend, you know, we're traveling somewhere. So last weekend we had a tournament. The weekend before we had another tournament. Couple of weeks we go to Jacksonville for another tournament for the weekend. So I'm pretty busy with that. And then I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's much more.
Besides, you don't eat pizza, man. Come on, man. What are
There's
we
a lot of stuff
doing?
I don't eat, man. So you know, I'll tell you. So I I started can't remember the year now, but I had started gaining a bunch of weight. All right, and I always kept saying, you know, as long as I don't make it above 290, as long as I don't make it above 290, and then next thing you know, I hit 290. You know, and it took a long time, right? I was trying to like make sure and it was like people were like, oh, you should start trying to lose some weight and whatnot, and it was like, oh man, so next thing you know, I hit 290, and I kind of just one thing led to another. Then I went to my best friend up north. I got invited to his birthday party, surprise birthday party. So here I am flying up north to go to his birthday party, and I'm here at home, and I can't find anything to put on because nothing fits me. And I'm just like, shit, man, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So here I am on my way to the airport, stopping at a store to buy a shirt, and I bought this 3X shirt that was more like a 4X because when I tried out a 4X, it was like it wasn't too far off. So next thing you know, I go to the birthday party, and here we are, and we're taking pictures. The three friends from back in the day were taking pictures, and I sent it to my wife, and she sends me back the same picture of us three back in 2002 when I got married. We took the same three of us had the same exact picture in the same positions, and I look at her, I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And man, I was just like, right after that, it was just like I was messed up in the head that night, and um, I flew back Sunday night back to Orlando, and Monday morning came up, and I got up early, and I took off, and I went over to Publix. I was on my way to Publix, and at Publix, I don't know if you've been to any of the Publix. You know, they got those big scales. So I get in, I go on top of the scale, and I look, and I'm like, I jumped off. Like, I jumped off really quick because I was like, there's no way. And I'm like 310 pounds, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, no. I got off. I went back on it again. So long story was, I didn't even go side Publix. Um, about a mile and a half to about 3 miles down from the Publix, there was a physical therapy place that I used to go to when I had my back issues. And I went in there and I said, hey, Pancho, I said, can I use your scale? And he's like, what's up? He's like, I just need to weigh myself on your calibrated scale here. And he's like, man, I told you the last time I saw you at Public. I actually had seen him at Public some weeks back. He's like, told you, man, you're getting big. So I went there. It was exactly 310. So on my way back home, I'm like, call my wife. I'm like, hey, today starts. I got to lose some weight. So I said, today I'm stopping no bread and no rice. And it started with that. Next thing you know, I started walking the same day. Um, and next thing you know, I started just walking, and just not eating carbs, some carbs, because I didn't start a diet. I didn't start anything special. It was just I was like, I'm gonna stop eating rice and bread. Because us Spanish people, we eat a lot of rice. We're always eating rice and beans, right? Um, so I started putting updates on Facebook that I was walking a bunch and I was losing weight. And a friend of mine was like, private message me, and she was like, hey, what are you doing? Because I've been seeing, you've been a lot of progress. You lost already, some weight. And I said, no, I just stopped eating this and I stopped eating that. And she was like, oh, so you're doing keto? And I was like, keto? I was like, what the hell's that? I was like, I don't know I'm like, what's keto? She's like, oh, it's where you don't eat carbs. And she started explaining to me what it was. She's like, yeah, me and my husband started doing that. And I say, oh, she's like, I'm gonna send you some pages about it. So she started sending me some links. But by that time, I was already stopping some. I already had stopped eating rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, breads. There was already some stuff that I had stopped. So when I started learning about keto, and I was like, wow, I'm like, that's a lot of stuff. I was like, next thing you know, I stopped sugar complete. I stopped drink any drinks. No juice. I stopped drinking juices. One thing that I used to eat almost every day was pineapples. Stopped eating pineapples, any fruits, and I started doing keto 100%. So I went from in 1 year. My goal was because I saw how much I was losing. My goal was that I wanted to lose 100 pounds. So um, my walking went from walking 2-3 miles to 5 miles to 7 miles, 10, all the way to 15. I did 15 miles of walking, and next thing you know, I started jogging, and next thing you know, I was doing 5Ks and 10Ks. So I was all motivated. And between doing all that, I did it 7 days a week. I did speed walk and jogging 7 days a week. Sometimes I'll do it twice in the morning and at night. Um, so I started in June, and June the next year, I had lost 105 pounds. So, um, so, but that's because I stopped all carbs. I mean, I was eating, you can eat a little bit of carbs here and there. So, um, that's the reason why I don't eat none of that stuff. So I don't eat no breads. I don't eat rice. I don't eat a bunch of stuff. And then in the past couple of years, I started just kind of cheating here and there, and I started gaining weight. So just actually, when I came back from Daytona, so for Daytona, I made a brand new suit for myself that I still haven't even tried on, because I never got to ride. Um, but the suit's there based on my measurements from right before Daytona. But when I came back that Sunday night, Monday morning came around, and I was like, told my wife, said, "Hey, today I'm gonna start. Don't make anything that I'm not gonna eat, because today I'm gonna start doing something." So I weighed myself, and I was 276, and I was like, you know what? I got to get back. I gotta get back to. I want to ride again. So it's been a while that I haven't ridden, so I was like, I want to ride again, so I got to lose some weight. Plus, I mean, it's just for health also, right? So, um, it's been 2 weeks, and I'm already down 15 pounds. So 2 weeks, I think. I can't remember how long it's been. Maybe 3 weeks now from Daytona. So I'm already down 15 pounds. So it was actually pretty cool to look at the scale this morning, and I was at 261, and I was just like, oh man, I'm going back. I'm like, I want to get down to 200 again. I was 205. I want to get back to 205 again, and just and feel good all over again. Plus I see John, and it's like, fuck, man, John lost all his weight, man. And I'm like, and I gained the stupid weight, man. I'm like, what the hell? So I want to be able to stand next to John and be like, skinny John, skinny Darwin.
Right? Yeah, John looks good, man. Dude, I got up to, yeah, I was like 270 pounds at one point. My biggest, I was like at a 40 waist. I'm at a 34 waist.
Nice.
I measured myself the other day. I'm at 213. I want to get back down to 195. I have a little work to do, but I didn't do what you did. I cut out a lot of breads, right? And I stopped eating so late at night, right? I don't eat no fast food. I don't drink soda anyway. So, and I cut out a lot of sugars. I watch what I eat, but the most important thing to me was that I found, Darwin, is I listened to what my body was telling me when I was eating foods, right? So let's say I cooked a good steak, and all I do with my steak is I take it out, I let it come to room temperature, I put a little sea salt on it, a little
Right.
olive oil, and that's it, right? And I like A1. I don't eat it all the time, but I was like, you know what? It's been a while. I'm dipping some A1, and I noticed immediately my nose started getting stuffy, right? So if my nose has that reaction, my body's having it's something in that, right? So I was like, okay, so I eliminated that, right? And the trick was, as I ate more foods and experimented, but you also still got to maintain what you're eating normally as you change your diet to figure out what's in that you cannot eat, right? So maybe the dough you don't like, but a cauliflower dough, right, would be the alternative, like the keto cauliflower dough, right, which is good, absolutely amazing. But I just listened to what my body was telling me as I was eating foods and eliminated. It's difficult though because there's certain ingredients I just can't eat, right, because my body has this reaction. But I
Yeah.
noticed that when I did that and I listened to what I was telling myself, right, the weight just started coming. Of course, I exercise some, like I was doing push-ups and breathing and cold baths, which I still do, but it's well, I can't do no push-ups with my wrist right now, but that's how I did it, man. And I maintain it. You know what I mean? So, excuse me. Bro, so let me ask you this. I'm a big audiobook listening to. I listen to a shit ton of audiobooks. Is that something you do too?
No, I don't do any audiobooks. So I'm not a I'm not a big I'm not a church type of guy, right? I believe in God. Um, I believe you don't have to go to church to to be saved and whatnot. But there was something that my wife she's a Christian and she's a diehard, goes to church every Sunday to make sure the kids go, and I went to, and also we did homeschool. So we do homeschool on our kids. So because the homeschool system that we have is part of a Christian system, um, I used to go on Tuesdays once in a while. When she couldn't go, I would go Tuesdays to the co-op meetings, and they they used to read passages and from the Bible, and I remember the very first passage of John 1, right, in the beginning, and I was like, man, I was like, I can't grab a Bible and read it. That's just not me. I can't just grab a Bible and read it because I don't have any interest in reading it. So I ended up doing audio, and I started listening to the whole chapter of, I did the whole John, and then and it was like cool. It's like, oh man, like this is how it started, because it was like in the beginning, that's how it all started. That's been the only audio that I've ever listened to.
Man, so I listen to shit out of audiobooks. Not gonna fucking lie. Everybody knows that, right? I love it. I
I
don't
know you do.
when I read, it's like motorcycle manuals, but to me, it's like, man, I listen to a shit ton of podcasts too. And I'm gonna ask you that here in a minute, what podcast you listen to, but it's like, uh, I got ADHD. I don't medicate, which means I refuse to do the Adderall and the Ritalin and all that prescription. I'm huge against prescription medicine. I understand there's some out there that helps people, right? There's bad medicine and good medicine. Unfortunate, 90% of it's bad medicine. I mean,
Right.
to be honest, right? So uh, I deal with it on my own. Okay. Audiobooks, I get hyper focused in, right? So actually, versus if I'm reading a book, man, I could sit there, Darn, and you could sit there and write down your whole, your whole story on envy, or me and you could be talking about a custom suit or whatever it is, right? And I'd just be like, I'm thinking about the MotoGP race or what I'm gonna cook for dinner and all that other shit, and come back and be like, what was it you just said, right? With audiobooks, I'm in tune with it. I'm currently listening to I show everybody. So Mark Webber, I've been listening to it for a while because I don't really have a whole lot of time, but I got 2 hours and 24 minutes left into it. Any motorcycle guy that's had a book, I got it. The best one out there. Let me retract that. The one that to me stands out as being the most, man, I got honest, in my personal opinion, is John Hopkins Leathered. It's absolutely, his story is freaking amazing. Highly recommend it, right? I recommend them all, but that one's really good. Podcast, I do listen to motorcycle racing podcast, of course, right? Brothers in Christ, which is off track out here. But when I talk about off track, it's my good buddy Dave Neal. He has a podcast in the UK called Off Track Podcast, so it's BSB and the TT and all that. And I listen to Chasing the Racing, which is another UK, and Moto PG, which is my boys in Australia. Pipe Dreams and Yeah, I do. But I listen to other podcasts too as well, right? Like Danny Jones, Joe Rogan. Who fucking don't listen to Joe Rogan, right? I mean, that's like the go-to. I think everybody when they first start in the podcast, they're like, I heard Joe. Let me get up on Joe Rogan and see what he's about, and then. But my question to you is, do you listen to any podcasts? And if
The
so,
only
what?
podcast I watch is yours.
Really, man?
That's
Thank you
right.
so much.
You
Make
know,
me feel special right
I'm
now.
I'm always busy. You know, what I mean? Like there's always something going on, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why I don't read and I don't listen to audiobooks because I got always something going on. So like, even when I'm at work, I'm busy. Um, I'm always doing stuff, and your podcast, I watch them at work. Most of them I watch it at work, and I put my Bluetooth headsets on, so even if I'm not watching, I'm listening to it. But that's you're the only one I ever get to watch, and then if I don't see it live, then I just watch it later on, when I have a minute. Um, but I've listened to a few bits and pieces from other podcasts, but I never sat down and watched the whole podcast ever. Only your stuff I've ever done.
Dude, you make me. It's an honor, and thank you so much, man. I don't even know what to say, man. You made me. If I was a girl over here, I'd be blushing like a motherfucker right now. You don't even know. I'd be like, "Oh, thank you, stop it." Yeah. So, dude, it's an honor, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Look who we got in the house right now, man.
Rossi?
Freaking. Well, yeah, Rossi's back here. He's here. He's not busting up in here right now, right? It's funny you say that because a lot of I always want to talk to Rossi. He's the star, right? My brother-in-law come in from Richmond. They're here we're having my son's birthday party tomorrow, so they come in town and they're here now. I hear him out there, so he's out there playing with his cousins. But no, we got John, the legend himself, John Ludwig.
Oh, I
What
see
is
him.
up, my man? Yeah, D-Rod, my boy, RT. And then he says, the R6 hoarder.
That's right. Yeah, I was gonna say that's one of the things a lot of people don't know, but then a lot of people do know. I have. You can't walk in my garage. My garage has never seen my truck inside. It's only seen my wife's truck once, and then that was for a hurricane. And other than that, you can't fit anything else in there. I got enough R6 parts to build 20 R6s. You know, some people refer to me as the R6 king. Um, Obviously, this guy's like Robbie. Robbie has shitload of R6 parts, but I probably store more than him because he's the one he's selling all his shit. I keep all my stuff because when I want something, I have it here, and I always got to have something. So I have a lot of R6 parts, and people hit me up all the time. Hey, you got this, you got that, and there's times that I have it, and it's like, no, I don't have it just because I don't want to sell it.
No, I don't, but I appreciate you reaching out to me. Bye bye now. Yeah, right now.
Yeah,
Like, absolutely not. Dan Spalding, what is up, my man? He says, you got my old R6 parts from 2015.
I still got your forks, Dan.
We still got them. Listen, PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
What's in the console right now? What's in the console right now? What games
Oh,
in
I
the
don't even know. I play Tetris.
dude Tetris? Yeah, dude. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. I like Tetris and I play it. I actually play. Yeah, I got it on my phone, man. Who don't like Tetris, right? I got a lot of games on my phone. That's my problem. Is it's hard for me to find that balancing act of, dude, I'm a slave to social media, right? Because of the podcast and blah 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 blah. And it's hard to find that balancing act. There's times where like I look at it so much, I just gotta my phone. I mean, in my this too, right? Where I gotta just put it down and not look at it for a couple hours. It makes my head hurt sometimes. Let's just be honest, right? That whole
Yeah.
AI thing. So yeah, man. Yeah, in my console right now, me and my son are playing the Star Wars. We're huge Star Wars freaking nerds. Brain fart. We got the Lego Star Wars. We're playing all of the Star Wars games in Lego version, and Cal Kestis is the guy's name in the game. It's freaking. It's a Star Wars game. Me and him beat the Outlaws game, which is the new open world game. We beat that together, and it's this one released like before this one come out last year. It's a part two. I can't remember the name. It'll come to me, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a gamer. Obviously we got the console because of the boys at home, but I'm not a gamer. But when I was younger, my mom and I would sit down. We would laugh because my cousin and my aunt would sit down and they would play Zelda. They would play Zelda. They would break night, the two of them together, and play Zelda. And then my mom and we would play Tetris for hours and hours. So to me, those are my fun games. I like playing Tetris on the console. I don't play it on my phone, but I like playing it on the console.
I love it, man. Me and my son, we play. I got him the Switch, Mario Odyssey, and then the new, not the new Zelda, but the older one. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. We play that one too. I like to, man. I spend away from the podcast, away from work, away from everything else. I spend all my time with my boy Rossi. But me and him get ready to make a road trip with Grandpa and go buy him a new dirt bike for Christmas.
Nice.
So yeah, I can't wait, dude. Darwin, finally, right? Because I think that all fathers, if they love this sport, kind of hope that their children want to ride too. You know what I mean?
Yep. Did Rossi tell you the story about Jersey?
They're here.
No, look, Rossi, come here. Say hi to Darwin. He's just talking about you right now. The story at Jersey, which I have not heard.
What story?
What story?
So at Jersey, he had his hat that was signed by a bunch of guys.
Got in trouble.
And he's walking around with all this stuff being signed and whatnot. And I was thinking, I said, you want me to sign it? And he's like, no. I was like, I'm famous. And he's like, really? He goes, who are you? I said, I'm Robertino Pietri. And he goes, oh, so who's Robertino Pietri? So I started telling Robertino Pietri's story. And he's like, all right, yeah, sign it.
I love it, dude. That's good. My boy, right? I'm proud of him. He was talking about Darwin, Robertino Pietri. Yeah. He told you that he was him, and you wanted him to sign your hat. Yeah. This is Darwin.
He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay.
I
know. I like, dude. So my son's real big into Legos too. He's making all kinds of like Lego butterfly.
Oh, nice.
Well, this is a gravity knife.
It's a gravity knife.
So
this is a new one. I haven't seen this
the
one.
blade. It
cool.
out the gravity. So,
Nice.
What's going on, bud? All right, I'll be out there here in a minute, Bubba. All right, yeah, dude. So, man, yeah. What sports are you into? Do you watch any other sports? Like, so I'm big into soccer, so I watch the shit out of soccer. But that's it.
Yeah, I don't. Over the years, and I think it's all due to motorcycle racing. Motorcycle racing just kind of took me away from the sport. So, middle school, high school, I played baseball my whole, growing up. I played for the high school team, and I'm still I'm a diehard Yankees fan. Growing up, ever since I used to live in the Dominican Republic, that was my team. It was funny because my parents are Boston Red Sox fans, and I'm a Yankees fan. So we used to watch the games together. And I would fly over to New York to watch games, or I would drive when I used to live up north. I would drive up to New York to watch games. I would go to the Red Sox games against the Yankees, but I would go with all the guys from work. They're all Red Sox fan, and I'll be the only guy with the Yankee, but nobody's going to touch me because I'm in the middle of, 15 guys that are all Red Sox fan. But I was big into, so usually towards the playoffs, when the players come around, I'm tuned. I'm like tuned to every game. I want to watch every game. I get up in the middle of the night, see the results, and so that is the sport after motorcycles. It would be baseball.
I love it, man.
I'm not a football fan. I don't watch any football. I watch the Super Bowl, but that's as far as that goes.
Dude, me too, bro. It's like, okay, I grew up in the Bo Jackson era, so Bo Jackson is my favorite sportsman besides motorcycle racing there is outside of as far as football and baseball go. Oh
Right.
knows, baby, let's freaking go, right? The first double sport, superstar. Um, so I'm a Raider fan. I got Bo Jackson's jersey that I wear during the season. Sometimes I'll throw that on and wear it because I got to represent, right? Got a Raiders hat and a beanie, but do I watch it? Absolutely not. Do we suck? Absolutely. We have for a long time, right? It's probably not going to change. Like the Detroit Lions. We accept this, right? But yeah, it's yes. And then soccer, of course, because I grew up playing soccer too as well. So yeah, buddy. Listen, man, this has been a lot of fun, Darn. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you for
looking
having me
forward
on, man. I really appreciate you, man.
listen. I'd love to. We'll definitely do a part 2 to this. There's still so much more to talk about. But I'm actually hungry, man. I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go out here and cook me some dinner. And my brother-in-law and all of them just showed up too as well. So yeah, I'm going there and say hi to the family. And they ate before they got here, and I have not, right? Because I did a special. So I had a special podcast earlier with Michael Carrera, SFL.
Right, I was watching it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was good stuff, dude. Again, it's an absolute honor, because he hit me up. I was like, hey, I got these breaking news. I want to come on your podcast and tell it first to everybody. And I was like,
nice.
What an honor. You know what I mean? So, but yeah,
well,
so
the stuff that Michael does for the sport, man, it's like, I just said that and I'm getting goosebumps, right? Because Michael does something for the sport that nobody else does, right? Like he's running South Florida Mini GP with the help of actual racer parents, right? And it's amazing the events. I'd much rather go to a Mini GP event than a Motor America event. Like it's a huge family. So you go there and everybody's just chilling, right? Everybody's just chilling, laughing. It's a good time. And Michael runs a great program, man. It's pretty cool. And and all the kids that been through Mini GP through Michael have, we have excelled, right? How many of us have been going to Motor America? Even like, look at SDK, right? He's involved with Mini GP also. And then all the kids that've gone, we got Avery, we got Ella, we got Andrew, we have Isaac. I'm trying to remember who else, but I just drew a blank.
Cooper, we got Cooper. Yeah,
Cooper
dude,
from the Mini GP,
yeah.
EJ from Mini GP, Gabe, and it just keeps growing, and soon some of these kids, look at Avery, doing in the Twins Cup, Ella, Avery's going to, Spain now for the R3 Cup. So they just say, look at Julian, that's the perfect example, it's like Michael's has been running a great, series. All the camps that they have built the kids, and the kids love them, because they feel good around Michael and then the whole family there,
Listen, I'm a big advocate for SFL Mini GP. If you guys have not watched that breaking news, go check it out. And if you had not had a chance, go to on Instagram, Mini SBK USA, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. So yeah, listen, Darwin, it's been an absolute honor to have you on. Looking forward to part 2. Before we get off here, I'm gonna let you close it out real quick, but I got to shout out all my friends. I call them my sponsors, but they're all really my friends. I don't get paid by none of these guys. There are people and my friends in the industry that I believe in, and I want to see them, take off and grow. Of course, you're absolutely one of them, Darwin.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, Next Level Financial for all your financial needs with Seth Starnes, bisontrack.com. Chef Eats, if you haven't ordered your Chef Eats, I don't know what your people are doing. He has all kinds of customizable meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Super amazing. Go check him out and order your Chef Eats. Flying Eyes Optics. They are American sunglasses made and assembled in Austin, Texas. They're my favorite sunglasses in the world. You can get them a prescription. Look at these. Like, dude, you can just bend the arms however you want. They come right back. They're made to wear up underneath, whether you're flying a plane or a motorcycle, right? This is the thing. A motorcycle rider is called a pilot, right? That's what they call them over there overseas, right? That's the technical name. Just like a fighter pilot or airline pilot or whatever, commercial, private, whoever it is. They also make them prescription. I freaking love them. They're so light. I forget I have them on. My wife friends, she's always trying to steal them from me, so I gotta hide them from her. And if they do come up with missing, I know where you live. I love it. Big shout out to again SFL Mini GP, which to me is the best program in America. Look at all the future talent that's actually in there right now, and that's done come out of there. Avery Dreyer, Ella, Isaac, the list goes on. Andrew Way. I'd be here for another 15 minutes saying all the names, right? RD Racing, my buddies out there in the UK that highly support my podcast. Thank you guys so much. I love you. And Jake Marsh. Vet2 Track, my buddy Jim Whitman has a program. So any of my veteran people out there, look up Vet2 Track. His motto is taking care of PTSD one lap at a time. I always get it backwards when I say that. I'm dyslexic sometimes, right? But yeah, he's absolutely amazing. And 64-degree racing, Tate, dude, he made me this 2-piece undersuit, and I freaking love it. It says Pin to Gas, Simcoe, and all. Dude, it's absolutely amazing. As you know, Darwin, you can't show up to a racetrack with one undersuit. If you do, you'll never do it again. I promise you, right?
That's
You gotta have multiple suits, and I do, right? I got RS Tachi and Blob Alpine Star and yada yada yada. But my two favorite suits that I own is my 1-piece Bison and my 2-piece 64-degree racing, and then it would be my RS Tachi and then my Alpine Star. That's just me. Big shout out to the Clothing Kings. My man Martin owns the company out there in the UK. You guys go to clothingkings.co.uk. You get all your Pin to Gas merch, which thank you so much. I need everybody to go to Road Racing World and donate to the fund for the air fence. It's imperative. What they're doing for Moto America is absolutely proper mega, and we need air fences around, right?
And for those that don't know, if you shop a lot on Amazon, you could actually sign up through Amazon to donate to the road racing fund. So for everything that you purchase, they actually donate a certain percent to go to the road racing world fund.
I did not know that. Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm going to start saying that. Yes. So listen, all my Amazon friends that shop, I shop on Amazon. Do that because it's imperative, right? Because without the air fence, we wouldn't have the racers. We wouldn't have Darwin making Envy, much less, Bison or anybody else in the business making leathers. There would be no need because there'd be no racing. So yeah, we need that. Anybody want to interested in buying a motorcycle, ATV, UTV, get performance one work done at a shop, look no further than Carnes Performance in Pennsylvania. He's a good buddy of mine, and again, I want to send business his way, and man, he's an awesome guy, right? And yeah, so and then KYT helmets. If you're not wearing a KYT, I don't know what you're doing with your life, right? They're absolutely amazing helmets, and listen, we're all guilty, okay, all of us. Even Darwin right here, right? We go out, we save up, we gotta have the best, right? So yeah, I paid a shit ton of money for my Valentino Rossi Pista GP RRRR with all this, but whatever, right? I could have bought 3 fucking KYT helmets for the price of that. I mean, dude, let's just be real, right? And they're FIM homologated. Listen, KYT America's big shout out to them. That's what you need to be wearing on your head. And last but not least, big shout out to all my friends and peoples. If you're not racing K-Tech, again, what are you doing? They're all amazing human beings. Darwin knows everybody at K-Tech, man. They're freaking amazing, man. Kendall and Birch and Dakari and all them. K-Tech suspension. But ladies and gentlemen, I've been running my mouth enough. Darwin, tell everybody where they can find you on socials, how they can sign up and get that proper mega custom suit.
Hey guys, if you're interested in getting yourself a suit, gloves on the suits, and anything that we can help with, you can check us out on the website, nbracingapparel.com, or on Instagram, nv_racing_apparel, or on the Facebook page for NB Racing Apparel, and we'll definitely get you going. At the end of the month, we'll be at Homestead we're gonna have a full display over there for the Pan American races. Um, Come check us out. We'll be there, fully set up. I'll be doing measurements, be selling gloves. It's also going to be Black Friday weekend, so I'm also going to have deals. So if whatever I have, we're trying to get rid of it. That's the plan. I made a whole bunch of gloves to get ready for this event. So Black Friday comes around, I usually sell 100, 150 pair of gloves usually during that weekend. So my whole thing is that I wanted to make enough so I could do the online sales plus go to Homestead and then we still bring that Black Friday sale over. But yeah, check us out. We're always here to help. Um, I don't live off of my brand. All the money that we make, it goes back into the sport. I help whoever I can, whether it's Ella, Avery, who the kids where mini GP, kids down in the DR, but all my money goes towards um back into the sport. I don't pay my house, I don't pay my truck, I don't pay any bills, I don't pay anything with that money. It all goes back right into the sport. Whether it's to pay for a flight for me to go, be with John, Ella, and Avery at a weekend, or to rent a car or whatever. That's where all that money goes. So I'm not here to I'm not here to get rich off of this. I do it because I enjoy it. So just keep that in mind. Um, my money goes right back into the sport. Whatever you guys spend, and I try to help with whoever comes around. I'm always trying to help. So you know where to find me. Just come around and we'll get things going.
That's right. I love it. Thank you guys so much. If you have not had a chance, please go to all my platforms and hit that like and subscribe, Spotify and all that good stuff, YouTube. One last question, man. Let's go freaking Jorge Martin. If you're not watching the MotoGP race, the last race of this season, I don't know what you're doing with your life, right? If not, you need to fucking get it together. Let's freaking go, right? Am I right? Yeah, let's go. So
all we need tomorrow for that sprint, and then on Sunday is the first 5 laps like the last race. That's all I care about. I just want those 5 laps all over again, and maybe get another couple of riders in there. Maybe Marquez. I see Maverick's been going really fast this weekend. Hopefully, we could get like 5 riders in that like that Moto 3 battle. You know what I mean? I rather watch Moto 3 and Moto 2 than Moto GP, but that race was just amazing. And if we could get 5 guys doing that in MotoGP, it'd be like watching Moto 3, Moto 2.
It'd be Christmas for us, right? And
Yeah,
big
that will be the cherry.
It would be. It would be. And big shout out to my man, dude. I always like Alicia Spargo. It's his last race. He's retiring. He is going to be a HRC test rider, but I like Aprilia too, and this jacket's absolute fire, and I'm a big fan. So let's go. Good luck to Alish, man. I hope Alish gets the double win, right? He wasn't up there, obviously, in FP1 today, but tomorrow we have practice and FP1 and FP2, and I mean qualifying 1 and qualifying 2. So he's still got time to do it. Last year, they absolutely murdered this track. It was Alicia's first win, if I'm not mistaken, on the Aprilia. First win, Barcelona last year, I think so. But anyway, he goes really well here, and the Aprilia works really well. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope this proper mega is all you guys. I love every single one of y'all. Thank you, everybody, for all your love and support. You don't understand what an honor it is and how much it means to me. And enjoy your weekend with all your friends and family. Hugs, and I hope they're filled with proper mega willies, right? So let's freaking go, man. Anyway, Darwin, is there anything you'd like to say to everybody before I end the podcast?
Yeah, just everybody out there, be safe this weekend. Enjoy it, everybody. I hope everybody gets to enjoy the races this weekend, and everybody have a good weekend.
Absolutely. And when you go to Moto America, walk around, go hit up Bad Boy Racing. Walk up to Darwin, tell him hi, say hello, get a picture. Maybe he'll give you an autograph if you're lucky, right? Let's freaking go. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to sit down with the legend himself, Darwin Rodriguez, NV Racing Apparel. All right. Let me end this.